What's up, folks? Nigerian Lucas, we're back to talk about episode 6 of Snowfall. Say a little prayer before we go any further in this review today. Hey, Lucas, can you do me a favor?
Mm-hmm.
Repeat after me.
Okay.
Scully.
Scully.
Not Sully.
Sully. Look here. It's gonna be whatever I decide to say and how I decide to say it. I mean, Scully doesn't sound as good as Sully. and Sully saved people on an airplane once. So he should be happy. I say his name wrong from time to time.
Hey, yo, folks, we're having it up in the comments last week, which, by the way, we appreciate you all checking out our review of episode 5. Again, this is episode 6, Say a Little Prayer. We're jumping to the very end of this episode, and we're going, and which coincides pretty much what we left off with last week. And it's Irene. We talked about who the weak link would be. So, again, she's pushing up on Alton. And like she's really aggressive. Like the whole isn't this what the Panthers fought for line? I was like, but
how dare you, Asian woman?
Yeah,
tell me, black man, what the Panthers stood for.
Yeah, so that's my question to you. Do she legitimate got position here? She's talking about the whole goal is they're going to expose the CIA and it will clear their family. But I'm personally not buying it, but I just want to know, what's your thoughts? Let's start off with that.
She's out here making promises like Detective Rodriguez. Like every time we turn around, she's clearly making promises that have nothing to do with her. Like, did she forget? You're a reporter. You're not a cop. What do you mean I'm going to focus a story on? That's all you can do is focus a story on me. You can't, I'm going to take your whole family down. You write a paper. You did. That's it. Like her threats are comical, but you can kind of see the dad falling into the trap.
I think it's for show purposes, though. I think it's for show purposes because I don't think the character's been too stern on his beliefs and his stance.
We're not gonna act like we haven't seen someone stern on their beliefs turn when a little bit of pressure.
Oh, for sure.
Hit
for
them.
Sure.
Come
for
on
sure.
Now.
I just, as of right now, I'm just gonna call it for what it is. I'll put it for right now and for what we know about this character. I don't see it happening. Next week is going to be a telltale sign of.
I mean, to me,
really is about.
I always thought that she would approach him like he was the weak link, and I think it's gonna be something that's gonna crack in him. And then it's going to leave Franklin with a decision on what to do. I think I've always thought that this season, okay, that's going to be, it was either him or Jerome. It's going to be one of those two. Alton or Jerome. One of them was going to be the weak link.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't tell you which one it was going to be, but now I think it's clear who it is. And I mean, at this point, we really got to see how this is going to play out. Like, does this minor little kind of threat change his perspective on everything? Like, he knows who his son is. He knows what his son does. But is a threat from a reporter going to change everything?
No,
because she's going to write a story on him.
I don't think so. But I will say this though: the more and more I think about it, it has to be him being a weak link because him and Irene are the only two people who have storylines that don't have connections attached. So when you think about just how stuff works, certain characters are going to be attached to certain characters in certain scenes, and those are two characters that are completely open. The wild card here is Wanda's eavesdropping, and I'm wondering how that may play a part.
No, we know Wanda. Come on now. Come on.
Look. Come on. Wanda is out of the hospital.
She got her
good. She's looking healthy.
We ain't go that far. She ain't look good. She's still missing teeth.
Her skin is glowing. She
trying to do a minor glow up. She tried her best to get rid of the crack.
She is off that now. She changed, man. But with all of that being said, somehow, some way, she's the only person who is looking for Leon who was able to find Leon with one call to the pager. And he just picks up the pager like, oh, who's this?
He got to be the dumbest person. Like, come on, man. We really got to get into Leon and just how nothing he doing right now is making any sense.
Nothing about him is laying low. My man dropped off Fatback in front of the police station when they're all looking for him.
They're looking for you, not
all
him.
The cops are looking for him, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, we'll drop him off. No problem."
You know where we're gonna go to? You know where we're gonna go to? We're gonna go to right where they're at and drop you off.
Like, all right, bro. Good luck.
Exactly. Oh, trust me, the whole setup, the whole thing, that is. I can't wait to get into that because I have questions. I have serious questions about how do you just throw away $100,000 and not care? Like, I have questions here. I know what bond is. This is what normally 10% of what they set your bail for.
Yeah, so $1 million. No, $250,000.
$250,000. Yeah. No, I thought they said it at what?
No, it's $1 million bail. My bad. Yeah, it's $1 million bail, and they said they would give him $250,000 if he got out. Once they got out, but yeah, $1 million bail. Yeah, so 10%, so 100,000. So yeah, we'll come to that. But really quickly, I just want to say, do you think Wanda could? I mean, after she just completely, when the presidents talk about the war on drugs and all that, she just throws her milkshake at it because obviously that's supposed to be symbolic for something, but they wanted to make that a big deal. We'll just go with it. But nonetheless, is she going to stay clean? She going to stay?
Here's the bigger question. Irene is looking for someone who she considers on the inside that's a weak link. Wanda is technically on the inside and could be technically used as a weak link. Like, that is something we have. Granted, we understand that in the end, she's just someone connected to Lee.
Yeah, but so what leverage do she have? And
that's the question.
What can she leverage from Irene? Because ultimately she's doing bad and she needs something. So what is Irene going to be promising her? Shelter?
I mean, she's promising to put people in jail. It seems like at this point, like Irene can just make any promise she wants here.
True.
But I'm just trying to say, if it's not going to be what I deem as the obvious person, I mean, you could go to Wanda angle, especially with her being there about her saying the thing about the drugs, starting a clinic, and just putting kind of 2 and 2 together of Wanda reaching out to Irene and saying, "Hey, I know more about it. I dated Lee, and technically she did learn the formula because they used her to cook up the rock at one point. So she has a semi connection to Franklin enough to try to bring the family down, but she can't touch the CIA, which is, in all honesty, that's Irene's main purpose. Yeah, I'm pretty sure her paper does not care about you bringing down a local drug dealer.
Not at all. Yeah, not at all. That's one pea in the pot. So, folks, everybody who's listening, again, we're revisiting the question we kind of touched on last week. Irene is searching for someone to give leverage as to how Franklin how the
keys and everything gets into this country. And this whole time she up here searching for someone to tell her the secrets, and all she had to do was show up at that club right after Reed's brother died. And I'm pretty sure at this point he would have told her everything. Because he was reckless. Super reckless.
So the question is, who do you all think is the weak link, and or how do you kind of see her angle playing out? Like, we'll talk more about it as weeks to come, but definitely want to know from you all, who do you think is the weak link, and who's going to be the one to spill all the beans? I mean, someone's going to have to do it because they're going to have to give her something for like the next 2 episodes.
Who is going to be Holly? That's what we need to find out here.
I hope all you all watch Power. I mean, I know y'all do. That's how y'all probably landed on our reviews. But like, the Power references are at an all-time high right now. Yeah, but let's get into this episode now. Now, I think the bulk of this episode, we have to talk about Franklin and Leon, which they've been verbally saying things we've been saying, and there's been clues of it being said. But I think that this episode made sure that nothing was left to wonder. The first thing is Franklin not giving up Leon because that is his brother. So despite everything, you call him an idiot, as what's the face called him? As Reed called him. Yep. He said he was an idiot. He said everybody was replaceable. all these really intimidating things. That is partially true, but that's his brother, and he's standing on his 2 feet with that. It's the first thing. The second thing that was said that I thought was really worth noting, getting this out earlier in this review, is they said that little girl should have never been in the car. We've been saying it.
We've been saying that from the beginning.
And I think some people are taking it as this like loose commentary here. Like that's legitimate. The thing, she should have never been in there.
Or if let's rephrase that. She could have been in the car. They should have never stopped with her in the car. That's the biggest issue to me.
Yeah. So, but with that being said, the whole idea between Franklin and Leon is that they got to get the cops off their back. And they're talking kind of cohesive. Like they both get it. Mm-hmm. Leon is like, I pulled the trigger, et cetera, et cetera. But he's like, the bigger issue is that the cops are after you, which is kind of, putting what we're doing
our business in jeopardy. Yep.
So they come up with the plan depending on Fatback. Now, I don't think I seen this coming. I don't know if anybody said it in the comments, but to me, it didn't even matter what happened. I mean, that ultimately settles the cop issue essentially before later things happen, but it don't settle the street heat. Yeah, the street heat. They want. We said it again. We said despite anything, they wanted this to be Franklin. They want it to be Leon. They don't care if they were in a whole nother country. They were going to blame them on it.
Yes.
I say Fatback. Manboy and Scully, even saying we're going to get them when the time is right. Again, they're still only thinking about them too, despite everything. So like it's all one issue, but not the other. So I guess more or less the question is, before we get further into the details here, is that if their plan was to somehow work, did they have legitimate chance to go toe to toe with this fake me out unified forces of foes with Manboy and Scully? Like, because that was obviously the next thing coming. You got the cops off your back. Now what? And not to mention too, I want to throw this in there before you answer. And Reed also is very much aware that the cops are on their back. So you got the local cops on their back, and you got the feds observing it all. Like, you got heat, which is messing our situation potentially up. So, and we can't really do anything about that because you won't do what I need you to do,
which is just get rid of the beef, because it's pretty easy here. At this point, you turn over Leon. I mean, that's why this doesn't make sense for Franklin to go down this road. Leon acted wild on his own. In all honesty, from a smart business move, you give Leon up. From a family move, you stick by him no matter what. But boy, it's sticking by him, putting you in a horrible situation. And it's putting you in a horrible situation with the most important person, which is your connect. And the moment Reed tells you everybody's replaceable, like that's sign number one that maybe Manboy could get what he wants, because they also bring up an episode about Franklin's connect. Like, clearly Manboy and Scully, Scully, I'm gonna get
go ahead and drop that donation in the chat right now. He done said it right 3 times. Go ahead and pay my boy up.
It's clear that they have their eyes not only on getting Franklin, but still managing and handling business. Now, as it pertains to them going up against Franklin, what we know so far is, where are their forces at? Well, Manboy got like 4 people. Scully got like what? How many people Scully got left?
Yeah, things are looking pretty dry on their end, man. That's why that's why they having communal church together.
Exactly, and it's like it seemed like it's building to something, but I'm confused of what it could be building to, because it's holes in everyone's perspective on what they need to be doing moving forward. One, from Franklin leaving the club with all that product and then telling Peaches afterwards, hey, move that to the stash house afterwards. Like, that just seemed reckless the moment he said it. Like, wow, you're just not gonna like move that all now? Granted, it was a smart idea not to because he didn't know the cops were about to pull up on them.
Yeah.
Or just
matter of fact, that was a question. And I know you say he didn't know, but did it ever cross your mind that he might have been somewhere? Do you think there's any chance he had any idea it may happen? Like any chance he did?
I don't think so. But I think that Franklin is smart on one thing, which is one of the top rules if you're going to be a drug kingpin. Write this down, people. Get your pens and paper. Never be in the same place as your product while you're in a vehicle. That is how you get caught. That's first and foremost how you get caught. No products need to be in whatever your main vehicle is because that's the one they're going to have under the most surveillance, is whatever they deem your most important vehicle, mode of transportation. So I think that's why he didn't put it in there. But again, it still brought questions back. And how many people know about this location? Clearly, we found out more people know by what happened at close to the end of this episode.
Yeah, everybody knows.
Yeah, like it's just a bunch to me of reckless behavior by all parties involved. But as you said, pertaining to your question of do you think that combined they could go up against these forces? I say right now, yes, because I think the forces are in themselves weak.
Yeah, this looking like a 202 street ball matchup coming up.
Exactly. Well, as we brought up last week, in the end, they still need Franklin.
Yeah, at the very, very end, and we'll talk about that. Just remember, they need Franklin, but we'll talk about that. We're going to come back to that statement. So again, with Fatback, which is the funniest scene ever. I mean, I don't know if he's a real one or is he just nah. What am I talking about? Of course, he's just that oblivious.
But he's clearly first. He is a real one because he was going to take that beef for them with no issue.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't even ask. To me, he didn't even ask like any like reserved questions. He was just like he said the right things. He was just like, yeah, and if you're not right, then I'm doing 50 and I don't have a chance in there. And they were definitely making up things on the fly. Because Leon talking about, oh, you think he got some people in there that'll take care of him? And Franklin, who really didn't know the answer, that's why when he was talking to his girl after he was smashing, he was like, yeah, this isn't such her brother. He's like, yeah, how's he doing in there? Is he all right? I was like, oh, okay.
He's looking for protection.
Exactly. By the way, after he smashed, I mean, my man got right up and walked over to the other side of the counter. He didn't need that cane. I see, man, look, these things are good for rehabilitation. That's a
boy, you feel like Superman after you finish.
There's a healthy tip for you all. But yeah, they said they're gonna give him the best lawyer if he turned himself in. They said that they'll set him up inside, he'll be good, and then once he get out, he'll have $500,000 to his name. He ultimately turns himself in, he gets 3 charges: accessory to murder, fleeing the scene, and assault on a deadly weapon, and his bail was $1 million. So basically everything that Franklin said would happen did happen. He did have a lawyer. Well, that didn't even matter. But when he does get bail set, my man comes out and bro, first of all, I swear to God, before whatever happened, I swear, I said, if this man Leon is out in his car and picks him up
at that point, they just need to kill him dead.
I was like, dog, he should have just at this point let him drive, let him wave. Like he just that wild of a boy, isn't he? But bro, Fatback, come on, bro. Like, how gullible are you, man? My man was
extremely. He saw a nice little piece and asked no questions.
No questions, bro.
Not a single one.
My man was as happy-go-lucky as if he just did the bid. And then was like, man, I ain't had no ass in like 15 years, man. I need this. My man was sweet for it. But nonetheless, before we get to that, first of all, Scully finding religion is the funniest scene of this entire episode. My man was he was deep in his religion, talking about this is all a result of what he did, and he out here getting crosses out and. I tell you, he puts on a performance.
I don't know if it's funnier that he found religion or that he just had $100,000 just laying around that easily to throw away. I haven't decided which one was funnier to me.
So not even just that. I mean, Khadijah basically saying like, y'all two ain't doing shit. So she's gonna take matters into her own hand. Now look, when she was in the kitchen, Scully, I'm telling you, man, my man is not all the way there. He asked her what was she doing. She said making soap with ammonia and bleach.
And she has a mask on. Like, I'm gonna need you to ask way more questions than that.
Funny thing is, I ain't gonna lie. When she had the mask on for a minute, I was like, "Oh, that's normal. Pandemic out here." Then I was like, "Wait a minute.
This is the '80s, sir."
I know, right? I know. But like, come on, bro. Like, first of all, he was for him even slightly considering that she was legitimately making soap, but nonetheless, she goes in. Does what she does on her own hands. So Khadijah doing work. She feel like the fellas ain't doing nothing. So
she did all of that to make chloroform? Is that?
Yeah.
It's the 80s. Ain't that shit just everywhere?
Yeah.
You can just buy it anywhere. It's chloroform.
Yeah. So, she but nonetheless, she her homegirl who clearly did not know she was. I mean, she should have known. I mean, they kidnapped homeboy.
What else were you gonna do with him? Come on.
Uno in the back alley. But like, yeah. So she stabbed him up to death. He didn't give up Leon.
How did they get his big ass back in front of that building with just them two? I'm gonna need some explain. I need explain because that's at least 400 pounds of dead weight.
Yeah. But yeah, your thoughts about the whole Khadijah homegirl, the bill, all of that, man. I mean, yeah, she had 100,000.
It was a nice. I understood the point they're trying to make is that since Scully and Manboy aren't doing anything, she's going to take matters into her own hands. It just doesn't come across as realistic at all to me. Like nothing that she did there was realistic for me. So because of that, it kind of felt like the weakest part of this episode was setting up of Fat Man and killing him the way that they did. Because in the end, you did all of that and got nothing. So you basically threw $100,000 down the drain when you already know who killed your child. This ain't new. Like this is something you know.
Yeah.
So what did you gain? In all the end, that's what it breaks down to. What did you gain from this? Nothing. Matter of fact, you probably took even more pressure off of Leon.
Yeah, because the cops.
Yeah, the cops are gone now.
Yeah.
not only did he confess to it, you murdered him. So it's over with to them. Retribution. Hey.
And if there's any legitimacy here, then you probably brought heat back into your own doorsteps because they're going to wonder.
Because who else would have killed him that way? And one thing I know too for certain, anytime you kill someone with a knife, it is considered a personal murder because only people in rages of passion or guilt or whatever stab people to death.
Look, you out here spoken like a true subscriber of Discovery Plus, watching ID channel.
Like,
look at that boy over there.
Like, I've seen enough episodes of the first 48 to understand when people are stabbed, that's the first thing they look is it's crime of passion. But that's what it didn't really make much sense for her to go about it that way. Because even if she was going to go after him, why did it have to be a secret?
Yeah, there will be an issue with this between Scully and Manboy. Yeah, yes. There will be some friction because of this.
Because right now, with him being dead, guess what you just did? You just really helped Leon and Franklin. Not only did you help them get from under the cops, you are uniting them two against you. Because who do you think they believe did it? They don't think she did it. They're putting this on Manboy.
Or Scully, either way.
And somebody. I would say on Manboy first, just because of Franklin's conversation with him. And because of that, he just became a threat to Franklin that he can no longer ignore.
Yep.
Now I have to kill you. I have to get you out the way.
So does Leon, who's obviously pissed, does he actually have a legitimate reason to be pissed at Franklin by saying he blames him for this?
Yeah, nigga, how can you blame me and you are the person who killed everybody?
Yeah,
it's on you.
By the way, when they was proposing this idea to Fatback, he was all like, all right, but you know what? Yeah, this will be a good idea, man. You know, I got some people inside. We're gonna set you up right. I mean, my man mood went from 0 to 100. He was definitely like, man, this is messed up. To like, I got you, bro. I got you. He was like a straight up sales pitch at some point. So like, him being mad was this. It's not.
It made no sense because he keep on saying, "Well, you promised him," but in the end, we understood what this was. Yeah. This was all because of you. Yeah. You made these mistakes. Yeah. Guess what? And I will stick to it and constantly say it. You made the biggest mistake. You left her alive. Mm-hmm. She should have been killed with her child.
Ooh, which is a direct result in this now.
Yes, that's your fault. Everything that's happened is your fault. You were reckless.
Yeah.
From the beginning of this, you were reckless.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, they were coming after you because they were trying to get Franklin. We fully understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But your reaction, which you did and which you did not do, led to your partner's death, including you selling your partner on taking a rap for you.
Yeah.
Like, come on now.
At the end of the day, I love how Leon is a force, but he's still very immature to everything, and it shows in his mannerisms and I like that, just so we never realize like he's a stone cold killer, he's a drug dealer, whatever it may be. We all whatever it is, we still see him very humanized at time with his interactions with Wanda, and just
we see him being naive. You can say it. I will put it humanized, or just we see just how naive he is.
Yeah, it's still one of my favorite characters. Like, I'm still always investing into what he does and thinks and decides, because I think it's just always been good for this show each and every week. And like, even now with him still making decisions that are just clearly knuckleheadish, but it's still good for the episode.
Yes.
All right. Now let's get to Louie now, who they're getting ready to set up a nice pipeline to the very wholesome place of Little Rock, Arkansas. She goes and sees her childhood
You said
friend.
Wholesome. I mean,
definitely a place I would look like I would want to spend the rest of my life in. I mean, Little Rock, Arkansas is the most wholesome looking place I've ever seen.
I'm assuming they're going to say that crack is the reason that Little Rock is what I know Little Rock, Arkansas to be, is because of crack. Because at first it was just a nice little country town. The crack got involved, and boy, Little Rock is, for people that don't know in the world, and I know Bill Clinton came from Little Rock, Arkansas. That's how most people know about Little Rock, Arkansas, unless you know anything about drug game or murders, and Little Rock is crazy. It was Chicago way before Chicago. So I mean, I think it was a nice introduction. Both of her and Louie and Jerome stepping out the car in the most Frank Lucas's looking fur coats. We said once you get a fur coat,
it's a wrap.
It's downhill.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
You never show up in a fur coat.
But hey, man, look, hold that thought again too, because it might be really symbolic for something. But we'll see. But yeah, so she hooks up with her childhood friend Egypt, who's pregnant. I mean, not pregnant, because that was funny. She said literally pregnant, but yeah. And her husband Johnny and Charles, who have no filter, who I already know is going to be a huge liability at some point.
He's gonna smoke that. We know it.
Oh, man. Yeah, there's without a doubt a lot of charisma coming from that kid for a reason. They wanted to make sure that
he looked like a DeBarge.
Yeah,
and he looked like a DeBarge, and if they didn't do anything else, they did crack.
Yeah,
so we know where this is going with him.
Yeah, that the biggest level of foreshadowing was like, here's a little girl that we're not going to care about. Don't even remember her name, but here's Charles, and he has a lot of everything going on. So please remember.
I don't know what it is with these black shows and not giving these little girls lines to speak.
Yeah, I think she said, "Mommy." I don't even know. Like,
hey.
Good as not being there for me.
A power reference, very reminiscent of another little girl who gets
Irene. Oh no, you know not right. I can't remember her name. Yasmin. Yas. Yas has finished up Power with only 5 lines. That is incredible.
Oh
For
man,
6 seasons. That's incredible. As a matter of fact, and in Power Book 2, she added 2 more, and she's succeeding the curve right now, but it ain't looking good. The average is not looking good.
I think in this introduction to them bringing this product to Little Rock, I think it's in all honesty, it's a way to possibly, and I don't know if they're going to do it though, but it's a way to possibly develop an amazing spinoff for Snowfall if you want to go down that route. Because one, these 2 characters are interesting.
Yeah,
sure, they're interesting.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in Johnny. I'm and I think too, when they were kind of celebratory with the guns and everything like that, I think that was just a glimpse of how fun and it could be. Not to mention, they still have the connection. It's a spinoff that still have a connection where I can definitely see some Jerome and Johnny in the future doing something, and that
who the hell is Charles? Because all we were told is that he was sleeping on the couch, but we ain't been told nothing else about who Charles is. So that's again, it leads to a very interesting spinoff of Snowfall. Because I don't think that you bring up them moving this product to a completely different place without having to revisit that place a couple of times to get to know these people.
Yeah.
So I think that would be an awesome thing if they spin this off to a different show.
I can get invested in that. By the way, I saw somebody somewhere, and I don't think it was in my comments. I think it was just, I don't know, on the net somewhere. I saw somebody say that Jerome is the worst character in Snowfall and that he is the worst actor by far of all characters on there.
Oh God. Oh God. You know what? I am not going to agree with you that he's the worst character. He is not. Nor am I going to agree with you he's the worst actor. Because have you seen Manboy? Y'all better stop playing. Y'all better stop playing. Y'all better stop playing, Joe. Jerome, man. You know what it is? It's because our sensibilities have changed. We are in 2021. Mm-hmm. Jerome, though, because I grew up in the 80s. Jerome is prototypical 80s Cali guy.
I even hate to say it. He's so
he is so 80s, and that's why I fuck with him so much because he's so 80s.
Yeah.
Down to getting out of the country, out that car, in that fur coat, he looked mad as like in this hick ass town.
Yeah.
It fits. And I think he and Louie can really carry some of the emotion of the show when the mom is not around.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, when you separate them into their own tangent, it's just as entertaining as if they are the main storyline. You can take Franklin out of an episode and they can carry it easily. And I think, by the little operation in Arkansas right now, like, I think a lot of people are intrigued. I think it's just a matter of where does it go next, because this is episode 6, 2 more, we're at 8. That's the season. And I think
to me, that's why I said it's clearly looking. This is what in television used to be called a backdoor pilot.
Mm-hmm.
When you introduce characters in a completely different place of the world,
mm-hmm.
and you give them story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, I'm not introducing you for no reason. Who's this best friend that we've never heard about for 4 seasons on this show?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting for sure. And Egypt and Johnny and Charles, they happy as hell now. They got their drugs, they got their guns, they got a future going on. They're getting ready to set the city on fire. Dude, if they can stay part of the plan. Remember, Rock is not. That's the clue here.
Yep.
So as long as they don't smoke it, but like everybody, they got to press the red button, and we're going to see how this plays out. You tell them don't press the button, they're going to press the button. But why that is intriguing, the part that I kept saying let's get back to is, and this is how we're going to close up tonight's show in a second, is what else are you looking for? Jerome said to Louie, which I thought was a question I didn't have an answer to. And then as the 2 part to that, what ultimately was told to Jerome by Louie in the car. So The question is, and we'll answer the first one first. What else are you looking for? What was your initial thoughts on that?
I figured that she would be involved in knowing more Franklin's plan. That's what I thought when he asked her what is she looking for. It pinpointed to me that she's become the person that Franklin trusts the most.
Okay.
Because at that point, it told me Jerome doesn't know things that I assumed he did know.
Yeah, I think that's been a big thing that I think a lot of people know, that like he does not know everything. I mean, I think you brought it up earlier in the season.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So but, it kind of confirms a lot of what he doesn't know.
Right.
But a lot of the things that Louie to me learned from when Franklin got hurt and she became the person conversating with Reed.
Right.
So in her head, she understands what she wants, and she understands how it's tied to everything else that's needed to happen. Because in the end, Louie has always wanted one thing and one thing only from the beginning of this series till now, and that is to look out for Franklin. That's always been her goal.
So that's why there's not an answer here?
Exactly. Because technically she did give him an answer. She gave him an answer off of that conversation of informing him who was Reed, that it is with the government, and when he said, she said you never trusted him. You said it was always something up with him.
Yeah. So okay. So to bring that full circle, if I'm understanding correctly, she always wanted to protect him. She knew Jerome was the potentially 50-50 in regards to trust. Mm-hmm. So she's buying more trust for Franklin through Jerome. I before you go any further, I want to know, now that Jerome knows about the system in its entirety now, with Reed, the connect, the pricing, the purity, the consistency, the quality. And we knew that the correct response here should have been him feeling outed, and not outed, that's not the word, left out, whatever the word is for that.
Said it right.
And then feel a spite, because everyone he said I'm the only one on the out, and I felt that. I was like, damn, man, like, you know, that hurt him. He's been kind of like preaching all day, and then he get at one point he's like, I ain't got nothing for this, man. Y'all left me outside in the cold. Mm-hmm. Does this go back to your theories earlier? Does he take this information out of hate?
I don't think he flips. Jerome is not the type that's going to flip on Franklin in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But, well, let me phrase that. He's not going to flip in the sense of talking to Irene. But boy,
I ain't talking about Irene.
Oh, okay, then yes. It brings up one of my biggest things about him not being trusted with Manboy.
Yeah. Does he get the loose slip?
Now he knows who the connect is. And now that he knows who the connect is, it's only a matter of time, because again, we have questioned from the beginning of the season, and that short conversation when Louie, Franklin, and Manboy show up, how close Jerome and Manboy seemed. And this could cause that problem. But if it does cause that problem, we have another interesting thing, because who do you think Louie would side with? Because I'm almost 1,000% sure it's Franklin.
Me too. It has to be. For 4 seasons, it has to be.
Again, she has always been his number one protector.
Yeah.
She's been Franklin's number one protector.
And on top of that, too, she feels, the Nets hears of the throne. Am I saying that right? When the next person who's up to the throne can talk.
Heir?
Yes. She'll be next here to the throne.
I don't think so.
I mean, if she already potentially ran it when Franklin couldn't.
Ran it, but, Mama taking over. I said that.
True. How about that? Whoops.
Yeah, Mama taking over. But Louie is the one Franklin trusts the most.
Yeah.
I think she's the one he feels I can always, no matter what, I can always depend on you.
Yeah.
And this is going to, again, create issues, because now Jerome is going to have questions.
Yeah.
How is it that Louie knows? Then I think he's going to ask and find out his sister knows. He's going to find out Alton knows. He's going to find out Lee knows. And it's going to have him feel that way, and that could lead to him turning to Manboy.
Yeah, also I can see Franklin, like, completely brushing this to the side, like, yeah, this is what it is. I'm sorry, and just keep going. I mean, he's not a person that's
accent, because I would do it right there. This is for him. Yeah, like that. We know Franklin's response. Yeah, I can't do the Franklin fake American accent that my guy pulls off here so well.
All right. Well, that was, I think, the last thing for tonight. Anything else to kind of touch up on?
I don't think so. Not from this episode. Amazingly, we were left out without Mom again this episode, and the side business venture part of it, which is also something I am extremely interested in. That whole story. Other than that, it's just about seeing what happens in episode 7, which is, well, normally for most shows, the episode before the finale tends to be the huge action based episode. And that's what I'm wondering. Are we going to get that from episode 7 of this season?
Could be. I mean, based on the kind of results of this one, it's potentially could be. And yeah, traditionally, that's what it usually is. Folks, definitely let us know what you thought about tonight's episode 6. It's been a lot that went on. I mean, we didn't touch up on Reed and his, how he got carried in the beginning by his family. It's not really the big thing. Yeah, I say it every week. Like we touch on the big bulky stuff. We don't want to just say every single thing in the
episode of Snowfall. You already knew what Reed's father thought of Reed. We already understood why his father blames him for his brother's death, because was it last season or season before last? When they showed you at the beginning of the episode the clip of the season when he was getting coke, just pure coke, just thrown at him that way. We understood then that he had a weak heart from all that stuff. So like that whole thing with Reed, I do feel it was the only important part with Reed was the conversation at the end and about the war in Nicaragua and them needing to find the guns that Avi had already promised Reed, and them Jones still have not shown up yet. And this other guy stepping in, asking for operational information. That is going to be the key part. Along with, if you pay attention, when Reed said, everyone's replaceable.
Yeah.
So is he.
This is true. Well, yeah, folks, that will do it for episode 6 tonight. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. As always, we'll jump down there with you and do our best in answering some of your questions, thoughts, theories, and all that other good stuff that you always presently do. Yeah, and definitely donate, because he says Scully right a billion times tonight. So I can't be on his back saying he said it wrong and blah 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 blah.
Who the hell has time to comment that I said Sully instead of Scully? Come on, son. Come on.
Look, man. They're right. They're waiting for you in the comments, bro.
I'm waiting for all you people in there to have something to say, because I have been calling him a completely different name that wasn't the character for the first 4 episodes of this, and you knew exactly who I was talking about.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We'll catch y'all next week.